Welcome back to the Same Page, a book club. You are reading with Fran, Gia, and Kelly. It is the end of the month, and we are here to review Into the Blue by Emma Brodie. And I have so many thoughts. We can get into immediately. I just want to start, though, by saying when I got to the end, I was looking for, I didn't skip ahead to read about the author. I was like, I'm going to finish the book and then read about the author, because, you know, it's always the last page about the author.
Right.
She lives on Martha's Vineyard.
No way. Yeah. Oh, that's great.
And then I was like, thoughts in my head, she's so smart. We want to be friends.
Wait, oh my
you
gosh.
guys should hang out.
It says.
You should message
DM
her.
I know,
yeah. And say, we'll be up there
We
next
should
week.
all have dinner together.
Yeah.
I'll
So-
also. No, I won't. I'm just playing. No, I'm kidding.
It says she
wish.
lives on Martha's Vineyard with her husband and their very good dog, Freddie Mercury.
Oh, cute name for
I
a dog,
love
too.
that.
Wait, I love that.
Very
Say we'll have a
cute.
play date
Yeah.
with Olive and
I didn't
Lola.
read that part.
Yeah.
Shoot.
She graduated from
neither.
Johns
There's no rush.
Hopkins University's Writing Seminar program. Her debut novel, Songs in Ursa Major, received the American Book Award. I feel like I got to check that out now
Yeah, for sure.
after reading this.
Yes.
Of course, like, here's the thing. When you get when you get the powers of the book world, which in my mind is like, used to be Oprah.
Yes.
Oprah.
Now it's Reese's Book Club.
Yeah.
Or Jenna Bush Hager.
Jenna Bush Hager. She
So
thanks. I saw that.
This
She
was
thanks
Jenna Bush Hager was all over this book.
Oh, okay, got
And
it.
I actually saw they did like a talk on the Vineyard at the beginning of the summer.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
we were
Where
late
the
to
hell
this.
was
Wow.
I?
We were
Wow.
late. We were late to
Damn.
this whole thing, obviously.
Wow.
But we all finished. I gotta say, thank God we stopped the whole stopping halfway
Yeah.
thing.
Thank God.
Because that would have drove me insane,
Brutal
especially with this
halfway.
one, because I read this pretty quickly. Like, I think I was 3-4 days.
Yeah, I read this so fast as well.
Yeah. Kelly, before you were saying that you struggled a little bit with the beginning, do you have any thoughts, or what was your initial reaction to this?
So I completely echo your sentiments about if we had finished it halfway or stopped halfway. To me, it's a completely different book, first and second half.
Yeah.
And I had read the first like quarter or so, and Gia had already finished, and I was like, oh, and I was giving my predictions to her. I'm like, oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's this, and I don't like to read the synopsis before I read the books because I feel like it gives stuff away a little bit to me.
Yeah.
So I had no idea where it was going to go, and so I read the beginning quickly, but then by the end, I don't know if it was like if I just didn't want it to end or if I was like felt like I needed to read it quickly or whatever, but I like had a hard time focusing on it. And then once it started with like the sex stuff, I was like, okay, I'm in. now I'm
Yeah,
sad. Now I'm
it
good.
turned into like softcore
did. It
porn.
did.
Quite spicy,
I
which
was,
I
it
do
definitely
love.
the spice meter went up a lot more than I thought
Yes.
it
Oh
was
my
going
God.
to.
I was
agree.
like,
Totally
boom.
agree.
Yeah, by far, because it
Yes.
starts out fairly innocent just because of like the age that they're at.
Yeah.
And then speeds up quite quickly. I feel like my thing was I was always just waiting for the other shoe to drop
Same.
because I
Yeah.
had seen so many people talking about this book where this is always what happens with a book that is a tearjerker. Is people read it and then they go, get your tissues ready.
Yep.
And then you're
Yeah.
like, well, now
I know.
now it's like not a spoiler, but it's kind of a spoiler.
Totally.
So when I saw Gia crying on her Instagram story, sobbing, I was like, well, I guess I got to prepare myself.
Yeah.
And then when it was revealed fairly early on about his mom being sick, I was like, oh, this is genetic.
Yeah.
Like there was a couple hints here or there, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
I
I
didn't-
see where this is going.
I didn't see it coming at all until it was revealed. And then I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. And Kelly actually sent me like a little blurb from the book
yeah.
because she was like, I'm so confused about this guy. Like,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
he an alien?
I
There were
really
some-
didn't know. Like, I also didn't like look up the genre. Like, I knew
Right.
obviously that we were hearing about these like space characters on a TV show, but then for some reason I was like, is this about to switch up and be like supernatural? Is this sci-fi? And I didn't want to like spoil it by looking it up.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I sent it to Gia, and I was like, because that jerk off guy who sucks so bad,
M.
hate him.
Yeah, hate him.
He had said something along the lines of like, "Don't get old" or whatever.
Well, yeah, it's when
That's
he's
his exact line. I have a picture of it too.
when he's getting when they're in the hair and makeup.
Elmore.
Elmore,
It's the
yeah.
different guy.
Hate
It's the
that
guy who's doing his.
He was like from Astronauticals, the original. He
oh,
was
that
coming
was a
back.
nice
Yeah,
guy. I
he's-
take it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
The other-
M. This was Elmore was an old, like he was an
A lot
actor.
of E-names. Too many E-names,
That was
if
on
I'm
this.
being honest.
And
That's
he
my only
said,
complaint.
what I wouldn't give to be 29 again.
Yes.
You kids don't even know. You think you'll be young and fit forever. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Don't get old. At this remark, Noah paused, the muscle in his jaw working. He was standing between Elmore and AJ, and she could both feel him over her left shoulder and see his face in the mirror. I won't, he said sardonically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like when I
I
read
didn't
that at
see
first,
that.
I took a picture of that because I was like, he's
Right.
going down.
Well, so I saw that, and
You
that's why I
know?
sent it to Gia, and I was like, is he an alien? Like, what does he mean he's not gonna?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
is he immortal? Is this Edward Cullen? Like,
Yeah.
what are we
Right.
doing here? And
No,
I just thought I
yeah.
was missing something for a while. And like I said, I didn't want to look up. But if you do look up, like, what's this book about? It does say in or at least the whatever I saw. I'm sure
Yeah.
it was some AI generated bullshit, but
Right,
it
right,
told me
right,
like, you know, struggling through, you know, hard times and a whatever deadly disease or like something
Yeah,
along
See,
like
those
that
lines.
was, I mean,
Wait,
that
wait,
would
what
be a
the
major
fuck?
spoiler.
It doesn't say that in
say it
that.
in this.
It said it on.
just
I looked
says
up on Google. Like,
Oh, yeah.
what's
the devastating secret that will send their
Devastating
lives
secret.
careening apart even as fate continues to draw them together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I maybe should have just read it on the book jacket.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
regardless, from that moment, I was like, okay, what's going on? What's happening here? And also in that moment, I couldn't tell if Noah was like upset and annoyed with that guy. So like in my head, I thought that guy
Right.
was still that jerk director or
Yes,
whatever.
yes.
Because
Elmore
he kind
and
of had
M is
attitude.
a little
Like why did he
confusing,
have
I will say.
attitude towards
That's-
Elmore? Like
Yeah,
Elmore seemed
yeah.
nice. Like why did he have tude? Like I just thought I was like, oh, he has tude because that guy sucks. But
Yeah.
then I didn't realize it was a totally different person.
How did-
Regardless, good
Yeah.
foreshadowing.
It
there.
was.
Yeah,
it was.
yeah.
It was in there for sure.
Yeah.
There are multiple moments.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about what Noah thought was protecting her by continually leaving? Because I did see some people in the fable being like, he's so frustrating, this whole thing.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, normally, with a character like that, like in any other story, that drives me insane. Like the guy that's like, I'm not good for you, and then like runs away. I hate that. However, in this instance,
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Fair. Like, this wasn't a typical story. He has in this whole plan in place. It's a disease that he watched his mom die from, like a slow and just terrible death.
Yeah.
And in that case, I understood it. So, like, I wasn't as frustrated with him constantly being like, we can't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was another story.
I completely agree. I feel like I'm not a huge fan of like I'm not good for you. I'm a bad guy, blah blah. But like exactly like you said, in this case, it's a lot different. And if anything, like I kind of understood where he was coming from. Like he didn't want to put her in this place of like you're gonna have to be like my caretaker and like legitimately watch me deteriorate
For sure.
mentally and physically. Like it's just such a horrible disease to go through, but then
Yeah.
also have someone watch you go through.
Sure, of course. And I'm sure he's projecting too because of his mom. and-
Exactly.
Yeah, it
exactly.
makes sense.
So, as frustrating as it was, because I was like, oh, I just want them to be together. It is a huge decision in your life to make and a huge thing to put on somebody else, you know, especially someone who is a little bit younger and like has like kind of like their whole future set out for them and all of these things. You know, you don't want to be that what you would feel like this burden in that person's life.
For sure. I think that my frustrations mostly just came from the way that they would like break it off every
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Because I totally
The
understand
disappearing
that.
act is also
Yeah, it's
brutal.
almost
Yeah.
like, but I also get it at the same time, like they were pushing each other away because it was like too hard to try to navigate it. And I did really appreciate the time jumps. Like I
Yeah.
think that was the most important thing. If we had to go through like every year of her like missing him and whatever, like I
sure.
appreciated like every time they would come together would be the new thing. But I do, I did find it annoying when it came to, all right, it's the end of this con, or it's the end of SNL, or it's the end of, you know, he's winning an Oscar, and like I'm watching from this bar. Like I feel like there was this disconnect that they could have just stayed on like a loving friendship level the whole time, and then also and like every time they saw each
That
other,
makes it
update whatever.
hard. That makes it
I guess,
hard.
but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like I don't know.
Keeping in contact
I
makes it more
guess.
difficult.
I
Resist
guess.
each other.
Yeah,
I know.
I really
This-
felt the pull between the two. Like I
Yes,
really did.
totally.
Like
Oh my
the
God.
writing was great.
Yes,
the
like-
descriptions, fantastic.
Yes,
I mean,
very
I'm just
well done
mad
by
that
Emma.
They didn't like I don't know. I really wanted them together from the first second they like even got together.
Yeah.
So anytime they were apart, I was pissed.
Yeah,
And I love a childhood lovers to
Yeah, me
like.
too.
Francesca, I was
Me too.
literally just about to say that. Like, this is like honestly my favorite type of trope. Like,
Yeah.
they meet when they're young and they
Yeah.
have this like on again, off again. Like, it's kind of like normal people type of vibes.
Totally,
Right.
totally.
Like, I
No
love
one
those-
knows each other. They know each other best.
Yes.
Yeah.
'Cause I also love that-
those types of books. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
And I also love especially that in a sense where he is like big famous Oscar winning actor that she knew him when he wasn't that.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yes.
I always feel like that's helpful when sometimes you read a story where maybe one of the people's famous.
Yes.
And you're like, well, is it really because of him, or is the fame allure and the whole thing? And so I like when the childhood aspect is there because it's she knew him before.
Well, she loves
I
the real
live-
version of him, or,
Yeah.
the pre-fame version, and it's like she likes him for him.
I
Yeah.
live for that kind of book. And like
Same.
as frustrating as people like think it is, like the on and off again, whatever, I'm like, oh, I love it. I love it. I love it so much.
I could have done maybe like with two less. Like it was towards the end, I
Right.
was like, come the fuck on.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
started getting frustrated. And again, I think the way that it's written and the times when they're together, and especially when they're performing together, it does, like while you're reading it, it's so clear on the page, like what that seems like or what that
Yeah.
could feel like the high-low emotion while reading it was frustrating because
Yeah.
the writing was so
Definitely.
good. Like I really loved the writing style.
Yeah.
I did too. And I thought like her way of weaving the acting and the
Yeah.
connection and
Yep.
the improv was all really interesting because it was described in such a unique way of basically like telepathy between them, of
Yeah.
like entering the black room and they just connect.
Loved it.
And it was just another way of feeling how connected that they were.
And I love that they were like showing their connection through the dialogue of acting
Yeah,
rather than
yeah.
them just like hashing everything out, face to face, like
Yeah,
having normal
yeah.
conversations, whatever. Like a lot of their dynamic and a lot of their connection was through their dialogue of acting. And like when they were younger, it was like that. And then on the show was like that. And then, later on when they're doing like the play together, they're hashing out like all of their issues, whatever, through the
Yeah.
acting, which makes it that much more authentic. And I
Yeah.
loved that because it was just such a unique way of telling a story rather than just being like, oh yeah, like, and they did this show together, whatever. It's like, no, like a lot of the main plot points of their relationship happened through
Yeah.
the show.
It was like their communication style.
Yeah.
Their communication style is acting, is
yeah.
improv, is
It
whatever,
is.
and that it's
And
impressive.
I loved it. I thought
Yeah.
it was like sneaky, so sexy. Like the
Totally.
Oh my God, yeah.
when they were
Yes.
first acting and she didn't want anything to do with him and he was trying to connect with her and he's forcing her to be in these scenes and there was just so much being said
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
different words. Like
Yeah, and
it
I love
really
that.
was so interesting.
It's like all about the tone. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yes.
Or what was the thing? It was like hair dryer. It was like
Yeah, hair dryer.
Speak and hair dryer, and the like them being able to communicate just based on like looks
Yeah.
and tone and
Yeah.
stuff. Like that level of connection between two people. Like I can't. It's hard to imagine.
Yeah.
And I think that it felt magical, and I feel like that's kind of maybe why I thought in the beginning that he was going to turn like, oh, they've got powers, or they are
Right.
telekinetic, or they are
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's how
'Cause it's,
in
like,
tune
yeah,
these
yeah,
people
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
It's awesome,
And
And
that's
it was
really
very
cool.
sad. Like she really did build out that world of that show where
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't getting me as much.
Yeah, I glazed a little bit over at those.
Yes.
Astronauticals.
Yeah. Or even just the new show, like Into the
the
Blue,
Blue, yeah.
and like
Yeah.
just even when it was the descriptors and the characters, I was
Yeah, I was a little confused sometimes
from
when
time
things
to
were
time.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also loved Eudora.
Yeah.
Love
yeah,
Eudora,
She's
my
so
queen.
iconic. She's
Yeah.
iconic.
Everything about her I love.
Yeah.
I would say one of my favorite parts of the whole thing is when they start doing Into the Blue and she's so reluctant to like be this star. Like it
Yeah.
seems like she's clearly a star and she just doesn't realize how good she is, and she was trained by some of the best and with some of the best and whatever. And obviously Noah kind of throws that back in her face later when they're having their like arguments back and forth
Yeah.
and he's like, you didn't live up to your potential, whatever. But I really loved when they were doing that like improv, but it was like hidden cameras all over this space. Like I had a hard time picturing it at first. And then once I kind of thought in my head, like, okay, imagine it's like a big house or like a big thing and there's just like hidden cameras everywhere and you're just like, and when you're on set, you're acting no matter where you go.
Yeah.
I thought that was like an interesting way to kind of put that, because I guess in that scenario, like you don't really know that you're the ones being filmed. Like, you know that everybody's being filmed all the time, but you don't know that you're the one that is what's being
what's
focused
going to be in the
on.
story.
Yeah, true.
Right. So the first time that she's supposed to be this like random, helper girl bringing food to the prisoner, and she just kind of like, seizes that moment to have a connection with Noah, and then it catapults her into this like starring role. I just think that those moments were so interesting because she really did it just happened upon her, like she really wasn't seeking it out. It made me not like her friend Tony though.
Tony sucks.
I didn't like Tony from the jump.
Tony sucks.
Jealous
Bad
bitch.
friend. Talk
So
about a bad
jealous.
friend.
Bad friend, jealous,
Yeah,
and
seriously.
upsetting. And never really got any
never
better.
came back around.
No.
I thought
it's-
maybe there'd be some redemption for her,
Yeah.
and there wasn't.
She had that moment where she was like, when they were on that panel at the end, the Blue
Yeah.
Con Blue Con, where she's like, you've always been great, and I never should have said otherwise. And I'm like, well, too late,
Yeah,
Tony.
totally.
Like get the stick out of your ass. Like you're so
Ew.
insecure with your situation. It's like you can't. Clearly, your friend's not, trying for this. But it seems like she almost thought Tony would think that. Oh my God, what's her name? Why am I
AJ.
blanking?
AJ.
Oh my God, that AJ was like almost like, what? No, I'm not a star. Like, what
Yeah,
do you mean?
right,
Like,
right.
that's the lens that Tony viewed her through, and I feel like AJ was really genuine the whole time. Like, I
Yeah.
never once really thought like, oh, this bitch again. Like, I didn't really roll my eyes at all.
Enjoyed her as like the main character, I guess you could say,
same.
or like as like the female main character.
Protagonist.
I really, really enjoyed her. And even though she like had a lot of flaws, I thought that just made her more real and
Yeah.
like just more relatable, I guess you could say.
Totally.
But like her drinking problem, like that was so interesting to like watch that develop and like how it kind of became like this huge like crux in her life.
Yeah.
And then, watching her kind of solve that issue through acting and through like like understanding
And
her
therapy,
dad and things.
therapy and
therapy,
stuff. I like
yeah.
that she mentioned therapy, and I also like that the therapist was like, it doesn't seem like you have like a
alcohol.
physical dependence,
Yeah.
but it's more of like a mental thing. And
Yeah.
I thought that whole dynamic with her family was really interesting. Like,
Yeah.
talking about her dad being a
Yeah.
drunk, her mom being pretty complacent, and her siblings just all trying to make it.
That was
keep the peace.
Yeah, that
you know?
was really some of my only critiques is I would have liked a little more focus on that. I feel
Yeah.
like there was a world to go deeper sort of on AJ's family because there were crazy things that were happening. Her brother's accident, her dad's
Yeah.
drinking.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot going on in the family where maybe that could have been a bigger factor. But at the same time, it did feel really real. It was you're following a woman who is chasing her dreams and getting that dream job and dealing with all that, but at the same time, like having issues at home that aren't the main focus,
Yeah.
but they're very present and very real. The acting, the improv of it all, I thought was such a great tool in this story where like them doing the play at the end. I
so
thought
good.
that
So
was
good.
such a great
Yeah.
way of showing how, dealing with a diagnosis like this, you kind of see one path.
Yeah.
Like you get that, like that you see one way out of it. And I thought it was so cool because I felt like she used the improv as a way to be like, well, look at all the other potential, like look at all the other possibilities that could happen. Like,
Yeah.
yes, that is something that has happened, but there are so many other, like the road could go in so many different
Yeah.
directions.
Totally.
And I thought it was such a beautiful way to shake Noah a
Yes.
little bit to be like, well, take advantage of the time
Yes.
that you do have. It's although some of it was brutal.
Brutal.
Oh God, yeah.
Brutal.
That's when it got like really. That's when I was like crying a lot.
Yeah.
It was dark.
It was
Yeah.
really
It was
dark.
really
yeah,
dark.
yeah.
I
yeah.
thought she was gonna like get pregnant on purpose. Like I don't
Oh
even
my
know.
God.
Like I don't even know how.
like some like a trap, like
Yeah,
some sort
yeah,
of trap.
yeah.
some sort of-
I didn't even
well, the
know what-
desperation was
Yeah.
really clear. And again, just another. I have to keep pumping up this writing. Like it
Yeah.
just was so so descriptive in the right ways that it wasn't like word salad. It just felt very very realistic to what she was probably going through. And I thought the kind of going off of that, her sister Emily was such a kind of a sneaky huge part of this whole book. Like whenever she needed that grounding or she needed that reassurance about like trusting herself or trusting like her inner thoughts and feelings, like I feel like Emily was always the best indicator of like what she really wanted and what she really loved. And then even in that moment at the end where they had their big final like the emotional show where she's like adding that extra stuff at the end and she's having a hard time and she's like hanging out at the theater or whatever, and Emily calls her and is just kind of chatting her up, and even Emily like in that moment was like, me and Mike were watching X, Y, and Z, and do you remember that episode? Like she like knew to say like they just knew she needed to or that guy needed to check on her, and like she almost was like explaining like, hey, I know you're going through some shit and I'm calling you right now to help you through it, but using like the show that she loved as a way to like show her what she was trying to do, which I thought was really, really smart considering the way that AJ kind of processes things. You know, like using that as like the way to get to her because that's how she communicates best. And like, it's sweet that Emily knew that.
All of her family members were like kind of vessels in her kind of like discovering things or like why major moments happened to her, like
totally.
If Pat never got into that accident, then she would never need to like start going to the cons, and then her and Noah, like that is a weird twist of fate, like and even with her sister, I'm forgetting Libby, like her and them kind of having this like tumultuous relationship, but then coming together at the end.
And it shook Libby out of her own relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which
that
is
was
a big
nice.
thing,
That
too.
was nice to see because it felt like even in the beginning when they were talking about Libby and first they would talk about Patrick, and Patrick did seem like
he was like the cool popular guy.
Yeah, like cool popular guy, nice guy.
Yeah.
He was the eldest, right?
Yeah.
The biggest brother. So he seemed like eldest child. And then she was like eldest daughter, but not the eldest child. And I feel like she, even at the end, she said like the only thing Dad was ever impressed by was my husband. Like that's and I thought that it was nice for her to kind of break out of that whatever responsibility she had put on herself to put on airs or whatever.
I just really loved these two, and I felt like and it came from the acting and from so many other things in their training, but just being sort of so present in each other's lives and just anticipating what the other person needed before it would happen. Like there were so many beautiful moments.
Ugh, Noah, I love
I took
him.
a picture of this one
Like the best.
where they were doing press and the segment had ended. It says this, then the segment ended. Noah was summoned for photos. He stood without sparing AJ a glance. She watched him shake hands with their host, the press liaison hovering nearby to extract him. He was leaving, and they weren't even going to speak. Dazed, AJ rose, pins and needles gashing her leg. I was like, classic. Her foot's asleep. Of
course.
God damn it,
Yeah.
her foot had fallen asleep. As her heels teetered, a large hand reached out to steady her. AJ's heart seized as Noah grasped her wrist, never pausing his conversation with the anchors. He held on to her until AJ regained her balance. Then their eyes met, and it was all still there as if not a day had passed.
Ugh.
Tears. I can cry right now.
Literally.
This is so
No, I know.
Like that's the shit that just gets me,
It
bro.
gets me
like,
too.
It's like all the
It's true,
all
it's
the
true.
moments where they like have these moments where they're not talking to each other, but they are like like they're not verbally speaking to each other.
Yeah.
When they're doing the press or like in the beginning with like SNL, like. And when he brings her onto the stage for SNL,
That's
like,
crazy,
oh my
right?
God.
I know, that
And
was
they just
crazy.
know like how to react to each other's like moments and movements and everything just is so like cosmic between them.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh,
How about when they
God.
were living in Drew house and she was in the laundry room and she was like, oh, he replaced the detergent and
it's like the one that his
and
mom
he was
had.
like, this is the one my mom uses, and he was like, I know.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, it's too much. It's too much.
After he fixed the laundry.
It's so much
Yeah.
thought, right?
Yeah.
Like just so
When they
much
were, like,
thought
kids.
into all of it. And I think that like even the cons thing, like I'm curious because I feel like we found out from Risa, or is it Risa or Rita?
Risa, I think was the
Risa.
publicist.
Risa,
I don't know a boss
His
named
publicist.
Risa, and I was like, I've never seen
Yeah.
anyone ever like name that again. But when she had said like, oh, I didn't want him to do this. Like this was all him. Like he insisted to do this and whatever. Do we think that when they're having the moment where AJ tells him like, well, I'm doing the cons, and he's like, you said you never would, and then he's like, well, I'm also doing the cons. Like, do we think that he in that moment like didn't like he was just like,
Yeah,
well, I'm doing
totally.
it too, but he didn't actually tell anybody.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I think he was
That
just
wasn't a
like,
coincidence.
oh,
He
you're
was like,
doing those, I'm doing them.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, me too.
Yeah, and then like dealt with it after. He was like, and then after went to Risa was like, I'm doing the cons.
I'm doing the
Yeah.
cons. Yeah,
We're
doing
gonna
them.
figure it out. I'm doing the cons.
Figuring it out.
I saw this question raised a lot with this book, and it's the question of like, is this a happy ending or not? Because yes, they do end up together, but they're where their lives are taking them. So it's like, is a relationship still a happy ending if you know it will eventually end in tremendous loss?
I think yes.
I think yes.
I think for these
Yes,
guys,
it's totally
it is.
worth it. Like, there's a reason why these two kept being
Yeah.
pushed together, you know? Like,
Yeah.
they're meant to be together.
Yeah.
I also love that she, I felt like Emma kept it in the realm where, yes, it was incredibly real and sad, and they were facing that reality, but at the same time, like this could have been this could have been dark.
Yeah.
Like,
We
this could have
we could have got to
extended-
jump another
this-
20
Yeah.
years.
Right,
and
exactly.
It would have been
it could
like
have
awful.
it could have
Yeah.
taken on another type of like story.
Yeah.
Where then we probably would have had different reactions.
Totally.
If it did extend into, what that looked like in
Yeah.
those moments. Even the whole like last maybe 50 pages of the book, they kept kind of mentioning how old Bud was getting. And I was
No,
like,
I was
if
sick
this
about that.
fucking-
I was
No,
sick
I
about
was like,
that.
if they're gonna
Like, no.
describe like this dog dying, I'm
Yeah.
gonna freak out. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna freak out. Like I started pre-crying. Like I was like pre-crying.
Yeah.
It hadn't even got to that point, and I was
14.
like, I was
though.
like,
Yeah, it's
14.
crazy.
I was like, and this
Yeah,
dog
yeah.
is. But I thought she did it in such a good way, where it was mentioned at the end, where it was like we did lose Bud, but
Yeah.
then like they found another dog.
Yeah.
So it was like, what a beautiful way to be like that did end, but it wasn't like sometimes it's like what do they call it? Like sadness porn, where it's just like so
Trauma
Yeah.
porn.
What's
Yeah,
trauma
yeah, yeah.
porn, where
The
it's-
last letter.
I was
Yes.
just literally just gonna say, like,
Yeah.
it could have just
Trauma
been the
porn.
last letter.
Yeah.
That ending
Where-
was this.
yes.
What this probably
like
will
I was
end
just
up being.
anticipating every single time they were like opening a door, I thought it was gonna be like Bud was on the ground. It was I was gonna be like,
no,
oh my
no,
God,
no.
don't do do
Yeah.
not do this.
Yeah.
Even at the end with the play, when Bud was the first one to run back into
Yeah.
the theater, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
What's gonna
Not-
happen?
Yeah,
Not
what
on
is
the
gonna happen
stage.
here? Not on the stage.
Yeah. Even Eudora's funeral, I thought was done really well. Like it was like, obviously we're sad about, she's an old lady. We knew this would happen, whatever.
yes.
But like, I loved how they were like, oh, they had the funeral at like, the place we all took our prom
Yeah,
pictures
yeah.
and like 500 people were there
Yeah.
and everybody loved,
Oh,
like it just was nice. And then for,
I love that she left
leaving
all those
stuff in the
letters,
will.
too.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh my God. How about those
Right.
letters?
Oh
Those
my
made me
God.
so like just
loved
warmed
her.
my heart,
Just
but
loved
also
her
made
so
me so
much.
sad because like when AJ left, like I feel like that was such a big knife to the heart for her
Yeah.
when Eudora was like, oh, like
course it
like
was,
you were
yeah.
Well,
not-
she
you were
held on to that. I
nothing.
think that's why she
Yeah.
never really wanted to become an actress, because I think
I'm
she
sure.
really held on
Yeah.
to those words like you're
Totally.
average.
100%.
And
Well,
to
and even in
read
that
those letters
moment-
later on to
Yeah.
see like how much
Yeah.
respect and love and just
Really
like
thought she had so much potential.
adoration
Yeah.
towards her was just such a sad but beautiful moment. Ugh.
In the moment of her kind of banishing AJ from the family, the life, the house,
Yeah.
because Noah was having his like tantrum, which was annoying. I do hate when there's the main character and they think they're doing what's best for everyone, but then they leave them in that kind of thing. Like I understand having that conversation and maybe it gets hard forever,
Yeah.
but to up and ghost and whatever, I didn't like that. I thought that was bad.
I
But-
agree.
And I thought that what
was
Eudora did
young.
to like push her away,
Yeah.
it was very like. It's very like when you want to send the dog, go on, get the
Yeah,
dog
totally.
away.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
That's like
yeah.
how that
There
felt.
were times that AJ was more frustrating to me though,
Yes.
because I felt from Noah's side there's more justification from his actions of just being so in his head and personally having to deal with that kind of disease, when AJ I felt was like a little bit in denial about what that was and like
Yeah,
not taking it,
for
maybe
sure.
not taking it as seriously as he should, which he does call her out on eventually.
Yeah.
But like her being stuck on him being in other relationships, I'd be like, girl, wake up. Like, that's
Right.
clearly not like, but
Well,
you're just.
yeah, but still, you're seeing him like with this girl, like, and you're
Totally,
like, well, why are you
definitely,
with her but
but
not
I
me?
just-
She
I
turned it
think-
into, she like ignored
Yeah,
that piece
like-
of it and ignored
would come
the fact
after him
like,
about the other girls when
Yeah.
like really was it ever
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it was
yeah.
never
It was
about
never
the
about
other
them.
girls.
Yeah.
Even his Oscar speech is like the girl in my
Yeah,
life, like
yeah.
whatever.
Woman I
to
love.
not even think for a second, like obviously they and in the audience they panned to the girl Allison, whatever. I knew, by the way, the second that she came out and was like, "Should I walk the dog?"
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
it's a lavender situation.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that this girl is whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do think that like the vagueness of that, like why would he not say her name?
Say
like
her
that,
name,
that
yeah.
alone, if I'm sitting at
Totally.
that
I was
bar
hoping
off like
that he
8
meant
beers,
her.
I'd be like,
If
he's
he was,
talking to
if he
me.
was said, and like age just once for you, I would have
I would have died. I would have
Oh
fell
my
over.
God, I would have puked,
I would've fell
literally.
over.
Wait, what did
Oh.
she say to him at the end of SNL? Like that really scathing thing? Like, what did she say to him?
deserve
She
to be
deserved-
sick.
you deserve
Yeah,
to be sick.
oh my
Disgusting.
God.
That was a bad
Yeah, that
moment
was
for
bad.
her.
I did that too.
Bad
I
moment.
saved
that
that
was
too.
like when she was in like her like really bad like alcohol.
And she was drunk.
Yeah,
She was
yeah,
drunk at
yeah.
that
Because
party.
then he said, she said, you know what, you fucking deserve to be sick. And he said, I'm not the only one who's sick.
Exactly.
yeah.
And he
Yeah.
clocked her shit because
Clocked
she was
her.
drunk as
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
And that
Yeah.
she was drinking more, remember, because he had been doing SNL all week and she didn't mention once that she had a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And
he, like,
then
showed up
he
to
showed
the
up at
party.
the party.
Yeah.
And he like liked him. He's like, oh, you wrote that piece about that was
Yeah.
also crazy. All
Yeah.
the like
What was his
They're
first
all in
name?
media.
Jack?
Brian.
Brian McKenzie.
Brian
Talk about poor
McKenzie.
Brian.
Poor
I did feel
Brian.
bad for Brian.
Yes and no. I
Yes.
felt like Brian was
Brian,
such a
read through
vessel.
read through the lines, brother. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
He really
and
couldn't.
I also
But
felt
he was
like
an enabler.
Brian was yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
Where
Yeah.
I felt like that was her way of almost maybe falling into a relationship that would have been like marrying her dad.
100%.
Because
100%.
like that
Beware.
yes, like that justification of nice guy,
Yep.
but like, oh, beer doesn't count.
bud
like it's
is not-
like
yeah.
whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
well, no, clearly she's struggling and you're not helping. And
Yeah.
AJ wasn't being honest with him either.
No,
Yeah.
for
no,
the
no.
reasons why she was.
And she never really
Drinking
liked
that,
him that
you know,
much anyway.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
No,
And she,
totally not.
from the beginning was like, and I'm just gonna, okay, then I'll go find a normal life. Like
Yeah.
I'll find a normal boyfriend and have a normal apartment and have
Yep.
the job.
He was
and
kind
whatever.
of like the first part of her kind of like
Yeah.
sinking back into like
Yeah.
her life that she always thought she was going to just end up being, you know?
yeah,
And I feel like
Cass-
Noah was that like was pulling her out.
Definitely.
totally.
Casting this, what hopefully is going to be a TV show. I could see it down the line. I know that Emma has said that like she would probably see this as a TV show, not
I would hope so.
a movie. Because
That could be
I
good,
don't
yeah.
think you'd be able to fit it in a
There's too
movie.
many parts.
That's
yeah.
why I love
Well, it would
Normal
get
People as a show.
I
Yeah.
totally agree
because
with you.
you're able to
Yeah.
see even the smallest intimate
My
moments.
issue is like you do have to make sure that you cast somebody that it's either you cast young versions and then older, or you cast someone that can like they can play down to
That can do both.
17 and 21,
You know
Yeah.
what?
and then older, because that was my like with Every Year After, which was like every summer after, was like they kept the
yeah, that was weird.
like they had a younger version for like when they were 13, 14.
Yeah.
But then like the 17, 18 was still the same as the like they were it just
didn't
was
match up.
No.
yeah, it just didn't match up as well.
Yeah.
So it's hard to do those
Yeah.
it's hard to do those years. It's hard to do like 17 to like late 20s. But I feel like they could find somebody that is maybe like in their mid to late 20s that could maybe play down.
Play young and play old. You
Yeah.
know what it's reminding me of? And a thing I wish they did, even though I love this movie, The People We Meet on Vacation. I loved that movie, but that book,
Yeah.
I think has so many other moments, like all their time jumps kind of in
Yeah.
the same way, that I would have loved to have seen in a
Yes.
show.
For
Like
sure.
every
Yes.
show is a new episode of, and I feel like this has that same vibe. Like there could be an
Yes.
episode
Yes.
for the Miami Con. There's an episode
Yes.
for this
Yep,
one.
totally.
There's episode where that
Totally.
scene of her. Truly, like that scene of her like walking over to her boyfriend's apartment and stopping at that bar and watching the Oscars on the TV, like that whole thing was so painted so clearly.
yeah.
Like again, another shout out to the writing. Like I
Yeah.
loved that.
I will say
So
someone in
real.
the Fable did say she was like, I felt like this was written by like a 10-year-old. I was like, oh,
What?
I know, I was shocked.
Oh my god! I
was
could
shocked.
Oh God,
not
a
disagree
10-year-old
more.
cannot get that graphic with the
No.
pornography.
Let me tell you.
I did have a few
Noah is a
moments.
sex demon.
I did have a
Oh
few
my
moments where I
God.
laughed, like at the beginning when they started, like, but I do the same thing with every book that like gets quote unquote spicy. Like anytime
I was not expecting
the
it.
sex stuff
No.
happens, I like laugh because I'm like, oh really? Like
Yeah.
oh the
He fucks her like
fills
5
me.
times
to be
in a
honest,
fucking
Then
night.
right,
Yeah.
At first, like the first,
Yeah.
like the kisses and whatever, I'm like, oh, this is cheese, and then it's like, and it's like,
like his
I'm
pressure.
soaking wet.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, okay, never mind.
Here's
We're-
the thing,
we're
like
using the right words.
Yes. And at first, I don't like when it's just thrown in randomly and there's like one scene and it's really intense and then that's it, and you're just kind
Yeah.
of like, that maybe felt out of
Yeah.
out of place or whatever.
Like, why?
But when they were living together in Drew House and they were all over each other nonstop, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I get it.
That
Like
makes
it's
sense.
like
Yeah,
now
no,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And I actually think that their sexual chemistry did need to be shared because it was
I
like they
agree.
had such an emotional
Yes. Mhm.
connection that part was I felt
Because
really important.
That's
I
an
don't-
important
I gotta
part of
find
a
what she said.
relationship, you know? Like
Totally,
And, like, when
and the
it's-
acting,
yeah.
like their sexual
like,
chemistry.
I've seen the most
while
intimate
doing
parts of
the-
you. Yeah,
like
yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like I was always like
Oh, yeah, it was
kiss,
stab in the heart.
every
Yeah.
minute.
This girl wrote, oh man, sometimes people just clock you. Wait, they said, so I couldn't believe some people really didn't like this book.
ugh.
Wait, I'm shocked.
I know.
I
Aw,
just
what a
this
bummer.
is like
You just-
my book to a
Same.
T.
I
Yeah.
love this.
Yeah.
This book was rated at a 10-year-old reading level, but at the end it had me crying and loving their love story. So shrug. I'm
Okay.
like, I think
Okay, so
I end
then
up
take it
like
back.
10-year-old reading level. I completely disagree.
No, I feel like it was so mature.
Completely
and
disagree.
Maybe it's
the
maybe it's the
intensity.
stuff about the show. I will say like when
The show, I think, was hard for people to get
Yes.
into. I think
When
they were
she
like
would
too much
nerd
sci-fi.
out.
What the fuck is a Krail?
Yes.
Like, what is happening? Like,
Yes.
And then I think some people just like the constant back and forth. Like some people just don't like that. Like they don't
Yeah.
like the in and out.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
this
yeah.
girl
Love it.
wrote the
I
most
love it.
infuriating characters ever. The whole book was the same conflict on a loop. I was so exhausted
was,
then by
it
the
was.
end. I get it, but I just think it's so much deeper than just like
Yeah, because
a
it's a
guy
huge
doesn't.
thing in your
yeah,
life.
yeah.
Like,
I think
it's
it's
a
so much deeper
huge-
than just like
Yes.
guy can't commit. You
yeah,
know?
no, that's why. Yeah, exactly.
Shit,
Like
though, limited
it's
character
so
growth.
much more deeper than that. What?
One
It's
dimensional.
it's that's
Crazy.
the whole
I
point
couldn't be
of the
full
time
opposite.
jump.
There, and
Like,
and they,
yeah,
the
of
cha-
course
there
they're
couldn't be
going-
more character
no,
growth.
That's so crazy.
Yeah,
Like they're obviously
literally.
yes, they're going through the same loop, but because time progresses and it's a totally different scenario every time, that's why it's like sad and frustrating that they go through the same loop, and that's why the payoff is so much better.
And I
'Cause
feel
it's like, oh, they
even with
finally
the-
figured it out.
Even with the last time where they like really get together and they're living in Eudora's house together and like they're like living domestically, she's
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
groceries, whatever, and then like he gets like that first sign, you know, he's making like a model plane or something and he gets
Yeah.
like the tremor.
Yeah.
Tremor, yeah.
That is like such a huge
Ugh.
thing to experience in your life, especially when you're someone like
Yeah.
Noah who's like this. I'm literally gonna cry.
No,
like,
I know.
You're like this able-bodied
Yeah.
hunk who's like had everything, blah blah blah, and like you're literally watching the first sign of your life like altering
Yeah.
and your brain deteriorating and all these things. Like that is such a huge moment to have to deal with, and then you have this significant other, like the love of your life, whatever, who's kind of
yeah.
pushing
Yeah.
that away, not really wanting to focus on that. Like that is a huge thing to react to and a huge thing to have someone else deal with, let alone yourself. So it's like, yeah, obviously you're
Yeah.
going to want to spiral out almost. Like
Yeah.
you're going to want to push everybody away because you're like, oh, it's happening. Like
Yeah, like,
it's
fuck,
over
now it's
now. Like
real.
here's
Yeah,
the first
now
sign
it's
and like
real.
now it's
No,
real.
it's
Exactly.
way deeper than I think people.
It's not just,
were-
oh, like we shouldn't
Right.
be together, blah,
yeah,
blah, blah.
yeah, yeah.
I
It's
really
not just
think
like,
that- I
oh,
bet
we can't be
this-
together, break up, get back together.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't be together. It's
No.
like just it felt there really is so much. There's so much more depth
Yes.
to that, and I think she did such a great job with that.
Yeah.
Also, the moment, like even going all the way back to the beginning when Noah finds out he takes the test before he leaves when they're kids, and he shows up at the video store and he starts communicating what is like happening to him, but in like an improv, like hypothetical questions.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't really improv, whatever. But when he asked her like should people know how they're gonna die or something? I forget exactly what he said. Even in that moment, I was like, something is amiss here. We didn't know quite yet that
Yeah.
like he was sick too. Obviously, it was just his mom at that time, and it was like, damn, this feels like he's saying something else and she's not picking
Yeah,
up on
totally.
it. And then he kind of like kind of
The only time she really
started
started to like understand it was like when he showed up to the first con that like Eudora did.
Yeah.
And he's like sitting next to her and she's like, I can feel like something's so wrong.
Yeah.
And they have this kiss and it's like this amazing kiss, but she like knows that like it means more, you know?
Like something else
Huntington's
propels
is-
this.
Yeah, Huntington's is just like such an awful disease. Too.
terrible.
It's really
terrible.
just
I was reading up on it after, and I didn't realize. I really didn't know how bad or much
when
about
he
it.
said it, I was like, oh my God, like that's the thing. Like this is terror. Like this is like nothing I've ever read. You know, I've never read a book where like someone has to deal with something like that. So it's like this is. I thought that they were not going to get together at the end at all because I was like, this is like such a life-altering diagnosis that like
I worried that she was going to talk about him dying. That was like my fear.
Same. I thought that's where this was going.
I kind of think subconsciously that's why I was like reluctant to finish. I was like, I'm gonna read this, but like I'm just gonna keep going, and they're gonna keep going on and off. They're so in love, but then ultimately, like this is a life-ending disease. I also feel
that's
like that's why
it
we
could
never
have took a very
really dark
while
turn.
having it be such a massive part of the story.
Yeah.
It was still like a story about the power of love and connection than it was like death.
Absolutely. Right. It was a really good example, I thought, of like taking a bad hand you've been dealt in stride and like working through it and growing through it. I could not disagree with that girl more who says there was no growth. Did we read the same book?
Yeah.
That's a crazy thing to say about this book. No offense to that girl, but kind of offense. Like your reading comprehension's bad. Yeah. And I'm sorry.
I mean, honestly,
you gotta dust up.
Yeah.
I thought I
reread or something because oh my God.
Like, if you were to read it with like a cynical lens, which I felt like I was doing at the beginning a little bit with like the sex stuff, like the moment, the will they won't they's. I was like, oh, like I rolled my eyes a few times, but then I was like, wait, no, like these are good people. They're just trying. They're obviously going through like bigger shit.
Yeah.
So don't like view this through like a roll your eyes lens. And then I had no problem with the rest. Like I was like, oh, this is
yeah. That's what I just kept telling myself. I was like, there has to be like a real reason why he's like not letting her in.
for sure. What are there any people in mind to cast for this?
Man.
Because I'm a
big shoes to fill.
Yeah,
Like,
and
I had a
Noah,
really hard
and
time
Noah's
with
a
it.
Noah's a tough one because he's
really
described
sexy.
in like such like a tall, handsome, strong.
I was thinking Belmont.
I
Honestly.
was
Yeah.
also thinking Belmont.
Yeah.
That would be a really good one.
Okay, however, I just like I don't know if he's tall enough.
Oh.
Belmont's tall,
Well, just
but like
cast a
6'3".
shorty. Cast
Supposed to be
a
tall.
shorty
Yeah.
girl, you know?
Yeah,
Just
just
a
movie
shorter
magic.
girl, yeah.
Movie
But
magic.
she's supposed to be tall, right?
Yeah, he's supposed to be like towering over
Yeah.
everybody all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, I know.
She
I
can
think he's
see
supposed to
him
be
like
tall.
down the
Yeah.
road because he's so big.
So I was thinking, but he's like a little bit older, so I just don't know if he'd be able to play
Like a 21
like
year old.
a 21-year-old.
I mean, he just did play a college guy.
is no. I'm not talking
her
about.
name-
I'm not
oh,
talking
I
about
was about to
Belmont.
say.
I'm talking about Tom Bateman.
I have to look him
Who
up.
the hell's that?
Love Hypothesis.
Oh, yeah.
He's in Love
hot.
Hypothesis
He's
with-
a little too old though.
He's 37,
Bateman.
but he is hot.
but
and,
he's so
and he
hot.
just
Yeah,
like
you're
gives
right.
me those vibes.
Yeah, he
of what
totally
Noah
does.
Drew would look like.
Maybe if they found like a younger guy that could be younger Noah.
Yeah.
I have such a specific image in my head that I really can't like think of anyone. Like I almost wish like in my head he kind of looked like I want to say David Cornsweet played he's really on my brain. I mentioned him the other day too.
Yeah,
for
I
Hercules.
could see that.
He played a character on like a Ryan Murphy show.
Yeah,
What was that show?
Hollywood
or whatever.
whatever
It'd be
it's
like
called.
it's like his character in that show is
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
want
yeah,
Noah
yeah.
Drew to be.
Yeah,
you know,
right,
if that
right,
makes
right.
sense. And
No,
I can't,
totally.
And I think that could work too. But David Cornsweet, but agreed. I don't know if he could play as young
you
as
just like really need tall, dark, and handsome.
20
You know, so
or
it's like
18.
really that, which is why it's hard. And I also think I just have, Sterling Point on the brains because I immediately was like Ella Rubin.
It has to be Ella Rubin. I'm kind of with you on
Oh
that.
shit!
As
For
AJ?
who?
For AJ.
What?
Yeah.
She has strawberry blonde hair.
Does she?
Yes,
I always
that's like
forget.
we mentioned
Like
a
they
million
did,
times.
They like she had like. Do they ever really mention the color of
when
her
they
hair?
when they do
yes,
her
like
hair
every
for
chapter.
Alara.
It's always
or
up in a
whatever.
bun.
True.
That's what it was
True.
like. It was always up in a bun.
No, I'm
said-
telling you,
they
it's
said
strawberry
blonde,
blonde,
they
and they
said strawberry
mention it a
blonde.
million times.
But
you
I-
have hair blindness.
I do, and you know what? I actually literally
Ella
just
Rubin could be strawberry
I
blonde.
just Googled again
Maybe wig.
Because
Wig
you
her
know
up.
what,
Wig.
Drea, in my head, I thought that too. Because I
you
was
wear
like, oh,
wigs?
then maybe I'd go Sadie Sink. But then I was like,
could
because
be.
I thought that too, strawberry blonde. But then I just Googled it and it was like, they don't say.
What? They
so-
say it a
yeah,
million times.
The only time I
That's-
remember them saying that she's blonde is when when she's in the makeup trailer for the first time, because they're like, take her hair down, and then they like do her hair, and so they say she has this like, I think they say like buxom blonde blowout or something along
Right,
those
right.
lines.
Yeah.
But I don't remember them ever saying, other than that moment, that she's
I
blonde.
remember them saying it like when she's younger, because they like talk
I think
about
when
how,
she was
like,
younger, I remember something about like reddish or
Yes,
yeah.
they talk about
Yeah.
like her having strawberry blonde hair when she's like younger because like she like compares herself to like Libby or something with
Yeah.
that. And then I feel like with the casting for the show,
I could also see her maybe just having red hair. So maybe I would go.
Yeah,
You know
she
who
could
I
just do
really
red.
like is Abby Cohen, who was in
love her
Winx.
Winx Club.
Oh my
And
God,
she was
I love
also in
her.
Every Year After.
Ugh.
I
Yeah.
think she is.
She needs more.
She is gorgeous,
I
and I think
love
she
her.
would actually be so good in something
That's
like
actually
this.
a good casting for her.
Yeah.
'Cause she
Yeah.
has the perfect
Yeah.
hair color for
Wait,
sure.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And not old lady Abby Cohen. We're talking about
No.
yeah.
Abby Cohen Winks.
Yes. So-
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would go her.
Abigail. She goes by Abigail.
Tom Bateman. I don't know if he can play young, but I'm stuck on Tom Bateman. Like I just envisioned
Yeah.
Tom Bateman when I thought of Noah Drew.
I feel like Meryl Streep should be Eudora.
I'm going Holland
agree.
Taylor.
Oh, that's a good one for her too.
Even
yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah,
better.
That's
someone
my
who's like,
Eudora.
Yes, darling.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
Oh,
I even
my
want
husband.
someone who looks like Iris Apfel, like you know the little old lady fashion who wears the big
Yes,
circle
yes,
glasses.
yes,
Like that's how I
yes.
picture her the whole
Yes,
time.
like a real life Enda mode.
yes,
Yeah.
literally, yeah.
I just saw this TikTok. Emma Brodie said that she would like Sadie Sink for
Sadie Sink.
There
AJ.
we go. Happy
And
for
then
that.
she said, Kylo Ren,
Adam Driver?
Adam Driver.
No.
Yeah,
What?
no way.
no, and
Yeah.
Finn is
no.
too old.
He's
He is
too
too old,
and,
and
honestly,
I love
Tom
him, but
Bateman and him
no.
might be like the same age, but no,
He's
Adam
not
Driver's
the-
got to be in his 40s.
He's not
no.
the right vibe. He's not like. Listen, I love Adam Driver. I think
Adam
he's an
Driver's
incredible
42
actor.
years
old.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
that's
she's
way too old.
I'm confused because then she says
Oh, maybe she has younger and older versions
Jacob
in her head.
Elordi.
No, even him. I don't want Jacob
He's
Elordi.
not like-
I love Jacob Elordi too, and he is like big and hulking or whatever. But
yeah.
he's always in that fucking character. Like I can't. I need Jacob Elordi to be in a role where I'm not the whole time being like, that's Jacob Elordi.
She's
you know?
saying Ro, the character that Noah plays Into the Blue,
Okay.
would be like Kylo Ren era Adam Driver.
Oh, just describing what his character would look like.
I see. Or no, it would be like the vibe. The
Yeah,
vibe. of the
yeah, yeah,
character.
like the vibe of the character.
That makes
the
sense.
vibe,
That's
the
kind of how I
vibe.
pictured it.
Yeah,
to
I
be
could see
honest.
that.
Yeah, as this like
Yeah.
space warrior.
But Jacob
but, like,
Elordi is
some
so
shit.
tall and so hot.
You know, who also could
He
maybe
is,
be a
but
good Noah,
already
despite him
Heathcliff.
maybe not being a fantastic actor, but maybe he'll get better.
Yeah.
Paul Anthony Kelly.
Oh my God, I hope.
He's
He
too,
also might
like,
not be
feminine
tall enough.
vibes to me.
You think?
No, but if
Yeah.
he gets better at acting, a little better.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Send
yeah,
her some
yeah.
classes.
He's really not good at it.
I think
no, that's
for
yeah, I
now.
know.
For now,
That's-
I God,
Like,
he is
Sarah
so hot,
Pigeon
though.
act circles around him.
Yeah, she does.
100%. But like
he is
that's
so-
the guy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, like,
that's
just
the build. That's
classically
the guy.
handsome, yeah.
Okay.
Just a classically
Dare-
handsome man.
Dare I suggest Milo Manheim? Dare I say it?
Oh, he's again like
Just
Jacob Elordi.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
guess
like
so.
too boyish.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
love him, but I just picture like a man.
Hot though.
Yeah,
Get a little
Yeah,
scarf.
but
don't even
he
get me
just-
started
yeah.
on Milo Manheim.
He's
He
just,
is
like,
the
No,
man
I
of
know.
my
boyish to
dreams.
me.
I'm sorry.
Agreed.
But,
agreed.
Like he's Flynn Rider, you know, like
He's so Flynn Rider.
like
Yeah.
boyish and
Yeah, totally,
charming.
totally.
Whereas Noah's like
Keep
restrained.
looking at
Yeah.
pictures of him.
Like,
And, like,
Milo could
ooh,
break out in song
brooding.
at any
He's
moment.
brooding.
For
That's
sure.
not Noah. You know, that's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
this can be my moment to hype up this guy. Finally, I remembered his name. I for those who listen to this podcast, since we started the podcast, I've been trying to find this guy and find
Yeah.
his name. I just could not place what show he was in. He was in the Never Have I Ever, the Mindy Kaling short series.
Paxton Hall Yoshida.
Yes, but love, but the guy Darren Barnett.
Yes, I ran into him at a
Love
restaurant.
him,
Paxton
and
Hall Yoshida.
he's excellent, and I just have
He's
never
on
known
Chicago
his name.
Med. I only call him Paxton Hall Yoshida.
he is?
Yeah, he's a doctor on.
And
he's
so what do you think about
he's
him
He's a
then?
peds doctor on Chicago.
Of course
and he was
he
a child
is.
star turned doctor. That's his character. on
Oh my
Chicago Med.
God! Like, of course. So, what do you think about him?
He's cute, but he's short too. He
Oh, is he?
just yeah.
Nicholas
bummer.
Galazine.
Ooh,
He could be a good Noah.
Good one.
Yeah.
Oh wait, fuck. Who's the other guy?
Yeah.
Red, white, and royal blue. Who's the other guy? Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor Jenkins
Yeah.
Perez.
Oh.
Or Perez Jenkins. I always get
He's
his
a car. Taylor's a car. Perez.
Taylor
What the-
Jenkins.
Taylor Jenkins Reid is an author.
Taylor Jenkins Reid. There's a lot of
Taylor's a
triple
car.
names.
Perez.
My bad. Sorry, Taylor.
He.
Taylor Jenkins
Yeah, yeah,
Perez.
yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah.
Because he's so hot. God, he's
Wait,
so
now
hot.
I'm in
so
the
hot.
realm of thinking of what's the other really. Oh no, I'm just thinking Nicholas Galitzine then.
Oh yeah. But he's so hot too. He would be great.
Yeah, I'm just saying like tall, brooding, hunk,
What's the other? Is he the one that was in?
mysterious.
Yeah.
Who was Sophia Carson in My Oxford Year with?
Oh my God,
I don't know.
fucking
I
love
never
that
saw
guy.
that.
Wait, let me see.
Ariel.
Yes, Sophia.
Not Ariel, but Little Mermaid.
Carson.
Little
Yeah.
Mermaid
Oh,
Eric.
Prince
oh,
Eric.
his name's like
Prince
Jacob
Eric.
or something, right? Jacob,
Yeah.
Jacob, no,
I
not
gotta-
What's
Jacob.
his
Sophia
name? He's a cutie
Carson.
too.
I'm looking, except for my
Yeah,
phone's. You know.
Little
The guy that-
Mermaid.
What was that
Prince
thing called? Oxford
Eric.
Year?
Yeah, my Oxford Year.
Oh yeah, he's hot. What's his
God,
name?
he's so
Christopher Daniel. Oh wait, no. Wait,
Why
what
does
the
Corey-
Corey
come up right away.
Milcreast.
Corey Milcrest?
Yes.
Queen from
Oh,
the Bridgerton prequel.
Yes.
Yes, but that's not Prince Eric.
Oh, it's not.
No, that's
Oh, that's
It's
a
not
different
Prince
guy.
Eric.
I always
It's not Prince
confuse
Eric.
them. Yes. Okay.
Jonah Howard King.
I always confuse them. I don't mean him. I mean him. I
Yeah.
mean him. I
No,
mean my
you're
Oxford
right.
Year.
You're
yeah,
right.
he's
You're right.
he's the king.
Yes.
Corey
He
Milcrest.
would be good.
Yes. Yeah.
But
He'd be
I mean,
incredible.
And you know what? He exclusively plays characters that die.
That die and because they have like a terminal illness.
Yes.
He's always playing a terminally ill man.
He's
Yeah.
perfect for this.
He's perfect.
Yeah, honestly.
He's perfect.
Because
It's
let me
him.
tell you,
Loki Jonah Howard
no,
King
Jonah,
could be
he-
good too.
he could be
he's
good
really
too.
handsome.
Oh, he is.
after
handsome.
after watching my Oxford Year, I was like, what the fuck is going on with this guy? Only
really is.
playing people that die. So actually, he's the perfect
That's so
casting for
funny.
this.
Yeah, he
I go
dies
him and
too
Sadie
in that?
Sink. There
Yeah.
we go. That's my final.
Perfect. And their age difference is good too.
Yeah,
because,
yeah,
And he
yeah.
looks young. Like
Yeah.
he could play boyish.
Actually, what did I say? Why did I say Sadie Sink? I went Abby Cohen. That's my opinion.
Abby
Yeah,
Cohen.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Abby
And I agree as well. Abby,
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
Abby to have more
Yeah.
more roles. I feel like
Yeah.
she needs more drops.
Amazing. Okay, do we want to give our final stars and then we'll wrap up?
Yes. I'll go first.
Yeah.
I gave it 5 stars.
Wow.
Yes, 5 stars.
Amazing. Yay. 5-star book.
Shout out
Our
Emma
first
Brodie.
5 stars,
Yes.
same page book club.
Yes, that's
Yay.
so true.
Is it? Oh,
For
yeah.
me,
by
yeah, for
far.
sure.
Any of
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
None of
right,
us have
yeah.
rated
Yeah.
any of these
Hell
books 5
yeah.
stars.
I said, God, I love this book and cried my eyes out when I was done with it. Beautiful, intense, and real. AJ and Noah are both deeply flawed but realistically human. I found myself not being able to put the book down because I needed to know what happened next. Also, it's such a fun and unique way to tell a love story.
Yeah.
Great.
God.
Love
Great
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
just really loved it. Again, just loved how they told the story of their connection through like the acting and the improv.
Yeah.
And like their love.
Very
of-
unique story.
Exactly.
Agreed.
And even though, you know, it does have this horrible looming thing, there's just such a beautiful way of saying that, like, no matter what happens, like, I want to be with you. And that's just such a beautiful thing and such an intense,
Agreed.
you know, thing to go through. And God, I just really love this
Yeah,
freaking book.
there you
And
go.
this,
Yeah.
you know, it gave me normal people vibes in terms of like the storyline. And I just
Mm-hmm.
eat that kind of storyline up. I love when they're
Yeah.
young and then they
Yeah.
grow up and they have this, you know,
Pull.
you can't beat fate.
Cosmic pull.
Yeah.
Kelly?
I'm gonna go a 4.75.
Yeah.
Leaving a little room for a 5. I will say some of the parts, like I said, I was frustrated, but the frustration is, I think, a part of it. It's like you want to be
Yeah.
frustrated for these people because they're so in love. I cannot get over how good I thought the writing was and how descriptive it was, and the picture that Emma was painting was just so perfect, dealing with so many like dark and heavy topics, but kind of weaving them into this beautiful romance is really impressive to me. And I loved the book. I could not recommend it more. I'm actually gonna, you know, I'm gonna recommend this too. Clemmer and his wife.
Wow.
They would love it. They're improv people.
That's actually so true.
I'm gonna recommend it
Yeah,
as
that's
soon as we're
actually
done with this.
so
I'm gonna
true.
tell them about
Yeah.
it. I'm gonna say your
running
wife's
right
gotta
over
read
them
this
after
book.
this.
Honestly, yeah.
That is
Yes.
so true.
4.75 from me.
So I was in between, and I haven't fully graded on Fable yet because I like to sort of sit with the book for a couple days, and I finished it like right before we were recording this. So I was kind of like 4.5, 5. Is this a 5 for me? And I think as we've been talking about it and everything, like I think it is a 5 for me too.
Yeah,
Like
yay!
I could give it a 4.5, 4.75 just so it's not a 5, but realistically, like I could not put this down. I always know it's bad when even like at night, Joe was like, "You're really into this book." Like I was like,
Yeah.
Joe was watching Tires on Netflix, and I was
Christ.
in the
What a-
same.
what a
And I was in
juxtaposition.
the same. I was in the same room reading this book.
Wow.
Like that's how zoned in I was.
That's
Right.
amazing. Yeah.
So I felt like I same kind of thing. Really loved it.
I was up. I finished at 2:30 a.m. I didn't even realize.
Just love the story.
Yeah.
So
Wonderful.
This was a great one. We really enjoyed this one.
Shout out Emma Brodie if you want to hang out with
yes,
us on
big
Martha's
shout.
Vineyard.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I know, sorry guys, I know we're so late on September.
Oh,
we're actually
shit.
recording this.
Oh, right.
We're actually recording this a little early
Yes.
than the end of the month. So we'll
Yeah.
but by the time this comes out, the September book will be posted on
Yeah.
social. So
Yes.
look at the Same Page Book Club. That will be confirmed. You can find it all there. I think we'll announce September and October. And honestly, maybe November, because I think we could just pick.
Let's just pick.
I think we just
ACOTAR.
pick ACOTAR
Yeah,
6.
can't we?
Oh, that's so exciting!
I think we can pick ACOTAR 6 for November.
Yeah. I think
we
like,
can
it'll be
too.
out at the end of October. Perfect timing. We'll do it for
Yes.
November.
Is
I
it
think we
too
can
big
too.
of a book though?
No, we're gonna fly
No,
through it.
Yeah,
I
right,
please.
right,
I'm
right.
gonna
The
lock
whole
the
month, well,
fuck
like-
in. Yeah.
I decided
Also,
I'm gonna start Crescent City, the second one. I finished the first
We
one.
can't
I'm
even
like,
dive into this. We need to dive
Yeah.
into this
Yeah,
the
yeah.
next episode.
And you
because
have to.
I have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot to discuss on like, do I need to read it too now?
You do
like,
need
I
to
got
read it. You need to read Crescent
what-
The
City,
first one
yes.
is good.
I
I really
know, but I
think
didn't
that
think I
this
needed to
is-
read all the other
I
ones.
know,
Now everyone
I
on
know.
TikTok's saying you got to read.
You gotta
every,
read Crescent City.
Every
Yeah.
book from
Crescent
before
City's
these.
quick. It's because it's only 3. I mean, it's not. It's not.
Yeah,
but,
It's
but
not quick. They're
once
all
you-
1,000 pages.
Once
Oh,
you get
good.
into
Good.
it, it's yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard, but listen, get to reading, bitches.
Yes.
Everybody,
Yeah, I
not
know.
just
Yeah,
not
we
just
will. We will, we
everybody
will,
on
we will.
Earth.
No,
Everyone get
the
together.
first one is really good, Crescent City.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll do that. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please follow Same Page Book Club on Instagram. You'll get all our updates there. And also join us on Fable, Same Page Book Club
Yes.
on the Fable app, where we have our book club. We rate, review, we discuss all these things. Join us there, and we will be back in September. Bye, guys.
Love you
Bye.
guys.